Hi-ho, beaver! Away!
Hello once again, and welcome to KritzKast and our coverage of the ETF2L Nations Cup, the 7th edition of it. We're going to be bringing you some Group H action between Russia and Sweden, with me, Georgebaii, Wiethoofd on the production, and my co-caster this evening will be Gamma. How are you doing?
I am perfectly fine, thank you. A little bit heavily watered after this lightning storm that's just passed over Ireland. But, none of the rest of Europe, none of you guys are allowed water. We're keeping it for ourselves.
At least the advantage of directing it breaks that heat wave we've been having for once, so we can actually fully focus on the job in hand rather than how much water is in our cups.
I'm just looking to see some scorching hot plays coming out here. Oof.
Oh, and
Bad
sinking
names.
plays,
Sorry.
I can imagine.
Sorry. I'm really hyped for this. I think it's going to be an incredible game. Group leaders of Group H, isn't it? The two of them both undefeated, 6-0 both times on both of their games. It's going to be a real cracker to see who takes the top spot.
Yeah, the other two teams in the group actually are Turkey and Belgium, I believe, and both of these teams have managed to take maps and games off of them. So they're perfectly poised to have a really good seeding for this group stage, provided they play this really crucial map which could determine the seeding for the playoffs and when they make that. Because both of these teams are essentially guaranteed playoffs. This match will determine how easier or harder their next opponents will be in the playoff stage.
Yeah, it's important not to get complacent here. They have the playoffs, that's always good. Got to get to knockout stages. But you want to make life a little bit easier for yourselves as well. And getting that all important seeding, it's good for a little bit of bragging rights, of course, amongst Scandinavian nations and Russia. But, it's also good for that easier games, as you say. And both of these teams, I think, looking at the quality of players, will want to go as far as possible in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the perennial bragging rights itself to be the best nation in TF2 terms for the European region. I can imagine, how much drama you could, generate off of that, and how general, bragging and chat you could do in your matches. Just oh, we're the best nation, everyone else is bad. So it'd be really interesting to see who actually comes out on top in this cup, for the Nations Cup in general. Obviously France have been kings for quite a while, but it'd be interesting to see if one of these other teams can knock them off their perch and take the crown themselves. But anyway, it's probably worth going over these rosters because we're very close actually to having 12 players in. One of them is already in spec. So I'm going to run down quickly the Swedish roster from what I can see. We're going to have, running down the scoreboard, I see Viljak, who's probably going to be playing Scouts. We got Classy, I think he's played around maybe the mid-high divisions on Scout as well. Spirit on Demoman, of course, basically genetically engineered to play Demoman for so many years now. On Kaya, making a bit of a little streak recently. He's been playing a bunch of TF2 recently with Anime, and he's now playing the Nations Cup with Sweden, which I think is represented actually for pretty much majority of the existence of the Nations Cup since he's been playing around. Elsewhere, we got Foz as well. I think he's going to be in a bit of I think it's maybe mid-high as well. And we've got someone tagged up as I am Svi, which I'm not sure who he is actually.
Not sure either. He is a Swedish gentleman, either way.
Yeah, we can rule that out. He is definitely Swedish. Hence the name. And on the Team Sweden, of course. But it'd be a mystery to see who he actually reveals to be. But anyway, what's your opinions on that roster anyway? Because there's quite a definite mix of really strong talent from the Swedish region, as we've seen over the years as well.
It's V. Ooh, it's good to know. But as you're right with saying that, there's a lot of very established names there on Kaya, obviously, and Smirre probably top among them. Viljak as well, mixed in with a little bit of newer guys. I think it's nice to see that, to see these old names coming back on Kaya, and just playing with these younger guys, giving them a little bit of his worldly experience, and helping to carry their respective nations to victory. But I definitely expect to see some big plays coming out from these more established players and see what they can get going.
Yeah, it was actually interesting in the earlier bit of the season we saw this cup even, we actually, for the first game, they were running Denia of all people, who like seem to be defective, had a mini defection essentially from Overwatch. Being a strong particular name in that game, having late contenders and such. So it was nice to see him enjoying the game once again with his friends, his bunch of Swedish friends. And anyway, it's probably worth running down the Russian roster as well and see what we got on offer here. So look at running down the scoreboard once again. We got Chemical, DQZ, Donny, Mixwell, Thieves, and Lightclaw.
Again, it's a quality roster. Not much in the same level maybe as Onkaya, maybe in a few of those, but they're all, as you say, very top level players. They've been around a fairly long time. I've seen Lightclaw in particular in the Highlander matches I've been watching. He's been absolutely killing it on Scout, and I'm really excited to see what he does with a little bit more space maybe in the sixes format. See what he can do. He is a Div 1 Scout after all, and you're going live, I think.
Brace for the bait. No, there isn't. This is genuine. We are going live for this fixture. Group H, Nations Cup 7. This is Russia and Sweden. Winner of this will determine pretty much the playoff seedings for this group, so it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. Going to be looking at Thieves for this first rollout. He's going to rotate the classic rollout into choke actually onto the left side. The rest of the team now getting into position on their respective chokes, with Sweden actually taking a bit more of a slower stance to actually get into their positions, and they're going to be taking this general aggressive goal. Actually, it's going to be the first exchanges there. We see the Soldier going down up on Kaya. Sweden actually traded with Lightclaw as well, and just general trades all around. 4 players up still for both teams, but I think Russia had the general positional advantage, so got to be careful not to let anyone into the back lines. And now the rest of the team looking to come in. We got C Boz in the back lines trying to make a bomb in, and it's just Smirra, the surviving man there, with very low HP on the Russian players actually, so he might be tempted to actually repush this. He's going to peek this choke, but I think the Stickies are going to deny any sort of presence of him, and that'll be the mid-win there for Russia.
That mid, you were saying it yourself, the Russians were there faster. They just took up better positions. The Swedes were taking their time, but unfortunately I don't think Russia were going to allow them to take the time they needed. The Scouts got really aggressive in their face. They lost Classy very early, but right at the end they lost DQZ, and that means that these Ubers are going to be more even than they would have been otherwise. It'll be a little bit of a stalemate around these chokes. Now it's going to be a question of who can break them faster.
Yes, and then we're going to go into the second point stalemate, with both teams looking to try and get some sort of pick advantage here. Generally, for this second point, you want to get at least one pick to push off of, or like do a general mass push into one of the chokes sometimes. You can go en masse into Big Door on the left side and try and to get your team spread out around there. Sometimes you might like to do a split push and try and get your rover in through choke. So it'll be interesting to see how Sweden will approach this right now. We're going to be seeing Foz and Swede taking their general positions on the Big Door, denying any sort of flank presence from the side of Russia. And Russia not really keen at the moment to go for a general pick here. We see Chemical taking a much more forward position, trying to get some more space in for Lightclaw perhaps to try and peek in. And general low HP actually on Foz right now, as Chemical's going to take his fight with Swede. Going to try and isolate into this last point right now, and actually Swede will win that pick, so nice stuff from him to get that first pick. This might cue some more aggression here from these Swedish players coming into this next push here.
It was interesting there actually. I think DQZ managed to engineer an advantage that he didn't even know he had. I think he managed to get about 30% extra of an ad that he didn't have when he spawned, that he probably just didn't know about. I think Chemical going in there with Lightclaw was just them trying to get something done. And now Foz again gets picked off trying to do something himself. They're all over Sweden are stuck here in Big Door, they're getting spammed out. They're going to reverse. The Russians trying to see if they can get in through through choke rather. But Smear is already back. But the Uber comes in through, just solo onto Mixwell, and really nothing's going to be made of it except a bit of damage maybe here and there, and we got a complete reset.
Yeah, the flashes from Sweden in the net, enough to void off any sort of Russian aggressive offensive right there. So we're going to be back to square one essentially in terms of this stalemate. Basically both teams trying to get any sort of advantage they can in terms of the frags. We saw Sweden get their first pick and tried to send in Foz later to try and get some sort of bomb onto DQZ, but it didn't come to fruition. And now there's going to be an exchange in this Big Door right now. Sweden in a really aggressive position trying to get onto Chemical, and actually gets that kill as well. 2 kills from him on that flank. That's going to surely cure some sort of aggressive positioning here from the side of Sweden, but maybe the man down will make it a bit more passive. And Kaya's going to come in right now, trying to jump in on the soldier, and gets absolutely bodied there by Mixwell, actually just down. But Sweden gets in behind and gets a bit of kill onto DQZ. That's perfect for Sweden right now. We're going to immediately walk in, try and take as much of this mid as possible, and get that cap time they desperately need.
That was unbelievable space creation from Swede, the man whose name we could not remember at the start of this game. Comes in through the flank, gets 2 kills on the flank, walks in through the flank when they're not even looking at Ankaya on the distraction play. Comes in, gets the medic, very nearly gets the demo too at Thieves. Chemical gets Foz. off on the flank there. A little bit of fall damage. They're going to walk through in this choke, taking the advantage in Light Claws on Engineer already.
Our control point.
Interesting position here for Chemical actually coming in way behind. He's going to be looking to try and get some more rockets onto these Swedish players, but Stoney trapped at this choke point, eventually going to get spotted out there, and actually Killbine's, I think he just exploded into bits, so Chemical going to try and take the long way to respawn. With the rest of Russia now looking for some sort of a conservative last hold here. We've got Sniper and River. Now the Ubergun's going to come in, and 2 kills immediately from Smira. Lovely stick, he's dared to kill those 2 players, and including the medic as well, so no heals for Russia. They're going to be scampering on this point to try and defend as much as possible, and now the frags going their way. Eventually, Lightclaw getting a pick onto Classy as well, and just 3-3-2. We've got Swede trying to make waves as well, but the cap from Smear, no one's was on point, and that's the first round for Sweden.
I've never seen a demo ninja cap before. That's really quite something. I thought they'd completely failed that. I thought they had the complete advantage, those fantastic stickies from Smira, and it came in, and they just didn't put anyone on the point. And it turns out they just sent Smira underneath the point to wait for an opportunity to go cap it. That's incredible. The advantage now to Sweden.
Maybe it was all in the plan, they were hoping for that sort of distraction there, and now Sweden are going to take a much more aggressive mid this time. They know they have the round cushion from the earlier, so definitely looking to try and take a much more aggressive mid to this point. Lightclaw and Mixwell going down as well, so a lot of players being lost here for Russia, who are reeling over that last round, surely I'd imagine, but now trying to respond with their own frags. However, it's going to be Donny just surviving right now, trying to make as much as possible onto this point, and actually gets the pick on the Smear. If he gets enough more damaging, but not enough eventually, Swee going to be denying that pick, and it's going to be the mid win for Sweden.
2 HP survival from Foz there, nearly got picked off at the end. The more aggressive nature shown by this mid was so much better. As you say, they know they have the round advantage, they can afford to go a little bit more aggressive, and look how much they can get done with that aggression. They take the good positioning, they get a lot of damage off, they keep their scouts alive for as long as possible. It's just classic 6's mid, and it's just really solid play. You see Chemical coming in here on the flank, trying to see what he can do. Lightclaw as well. Lightclaw might get picked off here. Chemical does anyway. Mixwell gets picked off as well. Lightclaw very lucky to survive, I think. And still a stalemate at mid for some reason. No, they're going to come in through big door, I think.
Yeah, 2 soldiers there, surely enough advantage to try and warrant a push in right now for the side of Sweden. And they're going to take all the space in the second. Russia won none of it now, they lost both their soldiers and going to be committed to this last hold, surely. They're going to have their usual setup, they're going to have an engineer up. Don't see a sniper like last. Actually, there is a sniper. We've got Donny set up on the left side, so probably waiting for someone to peek in through shutter and get a quick kill onto him to deny any sort of pressure from the side of Sweden. But they're not looking to hold back right now, despite the even Ubers right now. The gun only level 1 onto this left side, so not quite as effective as it could be. Normally you see the gun on the right side at level 3, just obscured in the corner, but much more open position for Russia, which are looking to play with, and maybe probably hoping to try and work Donny in for a pick and try and make some space for Russia to counteract this regression here. But actually, we've got Mixwell behind. He's going to try and walk in. He gets spotted out immediately by Onkaya and eventually picked up by Swee. I don't know how he got behind there, but that was quite interesting. And now Sweden, with that pick advantage, it'd be interesting to see how they push into this.
They're trying to get any stuff in the sentry. It's still alive and no one's really shooting at it. Onkaya gets that all-important dispenser pick. There is a spy on the field. Jack died early, getting into position here behind, seeing what he can get. They spotted him out. He's trying to do anything, but he's getting murders. The Uber saw from DQZ. Some spam coming out here. Shutter gets the sentry, but nothing else really apart from some damage on Mixwell. Looking to see a man underneath the point here.
It's just like no one's actually jumped onto him yet. Eventually Mixwell's going to come in and deny any sort of cap time there, but it's already enough to warrant a push here for Sweden, and then the Foz follow up as well is going to secure that round again for Sweden. Russia really struggling on these last defenses.
I don't think that anyone was really watching River there that entire time, because at the very beginning that's how Viljak was able to die and come up on spy, but just by coming through River without anyone seeing, going onto the point and dying. They again don't see Foz getting behind. They just can't seem to watch all the choke points that they need to watch. It's a very fast mid out here from Smear, already getting some damage out on them. Here comes the bombs, in double bombs in from the soldiers, looking to see what they can get done. They get Chemical at the very least, but Onkaya gets cleaned up. Some more spam, jumps on top of the midpoint from Mixwell, getting Smear, and he's trying to get into their faces, but the scouts protecting the medic as best they possibly can. They have Lightclaw on the low ground here, clearing people up. Great pipe from Thieves, and that's going to be a mid-win from Russia.
Yeah, it could have gone either way, really, with the frags that were being exchanged there, but I think the general heals on the side of Russia were just too strong for Sweden to deal with. So they're going to win this mid-cap once again. This will be their second mid-cap win, I think, in this match itself. So they're probably going to look into try and come into this choke point, or maybe even do a big push. We've already got a Scout and Chemical looking to try and find some space there. Foz is just on the respawn as well, as the rest of Sweden trying to take up positions into their choke point. Even Ubers on both teams. So probably once again they're going to try and get that early pick advantage to warrant some sort of push in. We've got Chemical messing around underneath, trying to get some sort of damage in, but eventually going to be backed off. We've got a Spy as well on Donny. Be interested to see how he's going to come into play for this next push.
He's not really in position right now. He might get spotted out here by Foz. Foz hasn't seen him. The butter knife is going to get him to blow himself up. He doesn't even achieve that. At least he got to have a few adventures, though. Isn't that what it's all about, really?
Yeah, and this warrants an actual Uber push here from the side of Sweden, but like no position actually onto DQC, so they're going to be able to milk this really effectively and trying to work this into choke. Spear getting picked off. No insight is on Kaya up top, I think, at the moment. Chemical's going to now spot him out, and he's going to try and immediately jump onto DQC. Nice bomb from Kaya to get that mid pick onto DQC. Another Swedish player's going to follow up in, and all the kill feed is in red favour, but then Thieves follows up with 2 frags of his own, 2 stickies onto Kaya and Foz, and then Nightclaw's going to follow up with the clean up of the Wheeljack. It's just Swee alive now on the second point, and he's looking to try and clear this up as well, but the pipe from Thieves going to get that kill, but probably not secure the point. There's not enough support there, and we're just respawning players on the way. It's not going to be enough for this Russia to secure this cap, despite that frag advantage.
I would have enjoyed seeing a 40 HP versus 40 HP demo fight to try and get the point there after all that, but I think neither of them really wanted that. They've just backed off and reset. Swee really saved that for them. Nearly got a 3k to almost turn it completely in the opposite way. Smear is just taunting in the middle of the choke point, walking right through, no respect, goes down to 60 HP for his troubles. But
the Ali special right there, the taunts. Swedish DNA definitely instilled in these players, so definitely know when to press that G key. So right now, similar situation on the second point, but Uber Chris Charge coming in on the left side actually for Russia. Let's see how many kills they're able to get with that. Thieves going to try and follow up, but eventually going to go down. Now it's going to be flashed on the Mixwell to try and make the most of it. Nearly just skimming past Smear actually, that crit rocket. That was a scary sight for him, surely. Get a crit rocket shooting past your face. And right now, all the frags being eaten up by these scouts from Sweden who have been really strong this game, especially Sweden in general. He's been really making the opening that Sweden need for these crucial rounds, with Mixwell just surviving in the backlines. Probably going to go for a late bomb, perhaps.
In Big Door there, Foz just came from lower and killed 3 people. That I don't know what else to say. There's nothing else to say beyond that. That Krits player is a little bit ill-advised, I don't think. They really had the opening for it, and now they have a full Uber disadvantage with Sweden pouring onto their second. They might lose people here if they're not careful and keep an eye on River, but it looks like they're getting a hold of it now. Need to remember to cap the points. There we go, boys. And here they come in already, in through main, seeing what they can get done. Some stickies laid out, no real damage being done except onto Mixwell. They have a scout on the point, there's no one there to deny him really until the very last second. Donny's on there. Some spam
this
being
could be
laid
big
out on the point.
God, do a bunch of stickies there, but Sweden going to get it regardless. Nice stuff from them to seal that round. 3-0 now for Sweden.
I didn't foresee this being quite so dominant in Sweden's favour, really, but they've just seemed to know what they're doing as a team on this map a little bit better than Russia do, I'd say. That would be my expert opinion, I think.
Yeah, these Swedes in particular, I'm sure, are pretty close-knit in their community. They love playing, the mixes together with each other, and just generally really friendly as well. They're really nice guys to chat to, actually. Anyway, going to be going into this fourth mid of this game, and immediately 2 frags off the bat for Russia, so that's going to be probably warranting some sort of Swedish retreat, and actually 5 kills even. It's just going to be, I think it's Foz alive even, who's going to make a hasty retreat off of that. What happened there?
Oh, it's just well-coordinated aggression, really. They ate a lot of spam from Thieves, and they just walked right in, killed the medic, no heals, and suddenly everyone else just started dying. There's nothing more to it than that, just some good coordinated aggression with some good damage from your demo man at mids. It's really hard to do anything against that sort of setup. They have a pyro now, actually, interestingly.
Yeah, the general thing to do when you have a disastrous mid like that is to get a pyro so you're able to air blast and deny the advantageous Uber coming in, but it's in the wrong place currently right now. It's going to stay on this balcony and try and secure that high ground and just reflect as much as possible, but Russia now trying to swarm into this cap point, and so much cap time already, they're going to be looking to try and follow this up surely. Sweden really gasping for air right now on this cap time, and actually going to get enough of those cleanup frags to warrant a Russian retreat right now. Lovely stuff from them to eventually seal that.
I really have no idea how they managed to fail that push, to be honest. They had every advantage they could possibly need. They had the enemy pyro in the wrong position, and they just couldn't quite see it out. The players just took the same spam a little bit too much. It's just disappointing to see, really.
I think you could argue, though, that was a bunch of players already on the point, essentially, for Russia. So, like, once the cap denial was in, they were pretty much, like, helpless there. They were just all bunched up, taking the same damage and just getting generally chewed up by the Swedish damage that they would get dealing anyway. So, not exactly ideal for Russia right now. But Chemical's going to try and make most of it, but eventually going to get chewed up by a pipe from Smear. So, nice stuff from him to protect his medic. As the rest of Sweden look to try and make waves into second point right now, try and come through big door.
It's very good for Sweden that they didn't have to use their class. He was trying to hold on to it as long as possible. They come through big door, and Russia weren't expecting it. They're trying to milk as much as they possibly can. DQZ has now trying to not flash as much as possible, and he succeeded in getting a scout in here through the choke. And there it is. Donny gets classy. Can they get anything more? They do clean up DQZ and Donny for this, though. Chemical getting a kill on Smear, but Viljak going down as well, and Chemical eventually being cleaned up, and that's a wipe from Russia.
Yeah, that was just really good coordinated. I have a bit of DM as well from Sweden coming to fruition there. Lots of focus fire, lots of damage dealt, and just be able to kill those Russian players and secure the second cap. Despite Smear pretty much being isolated from that entire fight, he jumps into the corner, the rest of the team was stuck in choke, and yet they still managed to make it work for them, and now they're going to be looking to push into the last once again, potentially for a fourth round.
Again, that fight they were able to milk that Uber for a very long time. They're able to get a scout through, still Ubered, through choke point, get the medic. It's all very wonderful, but you need to do more than that. You need to actually see out a fight, keep people alive enough, long enough to do it. Oh, players getting very low here. Smear getting incredibly low, down to 60 HP at one point there. They want to be a little bit careful, don't rush this.
Also, Sweden went down in that general melee with the Chemical, I think. So, Sweden currently a player down. They'll probably be looking to hold their ground, though, because we will be coming up on the respawn soon. It'd be interesting to see if he'll take a sniper, perhaps, coming into this. And indeed he does. He's going to be switching onto that sniper class. So, Sweden trying to take the passage game, not commit any more players into this, and try and make space for that sniper to get a pick, perhaps onto the QZ. You see a lot of hero shots on this last point, generally, on sniper, like to jump into the balcony or through river in general. So, it'd be interesting to see how Swee will approach this next point. But actually, the Uber's going to get exchanged into lobby anyway, so there'll be no space for Swee to take his positions up. He's going to be already fighting in anyway, and Donny's going to actually get a headshot onto Ankaya in the flank, I think. Swede just isolated in his main area and like pretty oblivious, I would say, to the rest of the stuff that's happening, and eventually going to get chewed down by Donny.
It's interesting that aggressive Uber push out of Gullywash. It's not something that you see very often because of how many flank routes are available for people to get behind you. There's just absolutely no fear whatsoever from the Russians coming straight out, forcing that Uber, making sure that Sweden don't have that Uber themselves to push in, and then suddenly Swee is just kind of left bereft there, a sniper with nothing to do, shiny people all around him. Who can you headshot when they're all shiny?
Yeah, Mixwell really cornered up there, but it's actually going to be Chemical getting to pick up the Smear there, so Russia, once again, getting these key picks that they need to make space for themselves, and now with the Demoman down, they'll be probably more inclined to take space into this lobby now that there's no stickies. We've got Swee and the Soldier of Foz, I think, trying to take some space in the river, denying any sort of flank, I think, from Russia, and just trying to commit them into this main area. And actually one of the Russian soldiers already getting launched there. Mixwell's going to go flying and to his death, and now the Uber's going to get exchanged into this lobby area again, generally even actually between these two, so it could go either way. A few flashes coming up from Russia, and I think they're going to get the most of this fight actually. It's just going to be Foz in the back lines, eventually going to eat a rocket there from Chemical. So once again, just resetting this second stalemate.
All in all, time continues to drip down though. 12 minutes and a half left and counting. They're 3-0 up. They don't really need to push here. They could bore this game out, but you know, they're actually looking to do something proactive. The Russians, of course, trying to do everything they possibly can to push out. They have Chemical coming in through river, just hiding there, waiting for the pack. Mixwell's going to get cleaned up. Maybe Chemical shouldn't go aggressive when his fellow soldier has died.
But he gets the pick anyway. Chemical, despite the aggression, will get the med pick, I think, onto Classy. So no heals now for the side of Sweden. But he actually got an Ankara Spy also spawning. I don't know where he's about right now, but he's going to try and fight this Demoman into here. And actually all the frags, despite the med pick, are going towards Sweden. And with the Spy up right now, they could probably set their gun and secure this round as well. The spawn's just about coming in right now for Russia. Mixwell will try to do as much as he can to buy time for his team, and actually getting more of the kills with Chemical up right now, and just about denying that last cap there from Sweden, which would have been disastrous for Russia.
I find it mildly hilarious that you have Viljak on your team and it's Ankaya playing Spy. But regardless, I think it's just, again, you know, they get that good med pick onto Classy, and then they just let us scout straight through choke point to kill DQZ, and then everything just starts to fall apart in the lobby. I mean, you have a spy there just gunning you down. He's not even trying to get backstabbed, he's just using his normal revolver, no problem. They're still going to get this point by sheer force of will more than anything else, but that ate up so much time for them to try and get back in this game.
Yeah, coming up to 11 minutes left on the clock, so definitely still possible right now for Russia to come back into this and get a few rounds onto the board. But Sweden, at the moment, taking much more of the victories in these fights. And actually, Viljak actually gives a sword to DQZ there, who's going to get popped off right now, but nothing to Uber, actually. He's going to be completely isolated here, surely, and with Viljak going to chase him down. And this is going to be the kill bind for DQZ. He will not accept his fate in these Swedish captors, and he will kill himself and go back to spawn, while the rest of Sweden look to cap second and make their waves into the last fourth round once again.
Uber's going to get popped off here. Classy was able to have that entire time without needing to do anything. They're just baiting the point, getting kills as much as they possibly can. Look at these two scouts just jumping on and off the point, baiting it a little bit. They have the soldier on an easy point, but that's how you push a last point. Albeit with all the advantages in the world.
I think Spear did a stellar job as well. Really good denial from him, and Pipes as well. Managed to kill, I think, 3 people in general on that last point. So nice stuff from him. And now Sweden on map point for this Gully Watch map. So they're probably going to play a bit more conservatively, I'd imagine, or even aggressively to try and secure this as fast as possible and get onto the next map. But Russia right now reeling. They've got to try and some way back into this game, otherwise they're going to lose this map and probably not be in a good position for the next map either. And actually, the pick on the Spirit immediately from Chemical there is surely going to hurt some space for Russia, who've been really strong actually on these mid fights right now. So Sweden got to try and find some sort of response here. They're going to try and send some more players underneath. We've got Foz underneath, trying on low HP, but all the frags going in Russia's favour. Onkaya, the only survivor right now, and he's going to be falling back to spawn. Another mid win then for Russia.
I'm going to tell you exactly why Onkaya survived that mid. He jumped from his big door to the enemy big door, back to his own big door, and then ran away. That was his mid. Some good aggression from the Russians. They're in lobby
I've heard of a roaming soldier, but that's ridiculous. But anyway, Russia now finally poised to maybe get a quick cap of their own. But Viljak on the Pyro on the top level of Sego, as I mentioned earlier, able to deny a lot of space there. Eventually going to get picked up there by Thieves. Now the rest of Russia is pretty much the next frag is going to be crucial to this next push right now. Mixel going in really deep to try and get that Onkaya heavy, and actually no one on point right now. Both scouts on cap and the medic as well is going to be around for Russia. 4-1.
Again, you know you don't want to get lax. That's how quickly a game can turn on you if you're not careful. One bad mid, and you're just gonna start bleeding rounds if you're not careful. Obviously, I don't think Russia are going to get 3 more rounds in the next 8 minutes, but it's still a distinct possibility, and the Swedes are going to have to tighten up their mid fights if they don't want that possibility from occurring.
Going to be looking at Chemical, who's got the early damage actually on this majority of space, but we're actually going to be the first to die actually, despite getting that Demo pick the last mid. So Russia suddenly on the receiving end, and suddenly everything's collapsing. Just 2 scouts of the Demo man alive, Lyclaw going down as well. Donny low HP, get cleaned up by Sui, and it's just Thieves who will be sticky jumping back to spawn. It's in a very mirror image mid fight essentially for the side of Sweden.
I love the little defensive image, I suppose, that the Swedes were putting up there in that mid-fight. They had both scouts and a demo man on their medic, just protecting him throughout that entire fight, eating up any aggression sent towards him. Meanwhile, they were able to send Foz and Onkaya forward to just create absolute havoc on the Russian side of the mid, get all the major picks, and then the scouts can just walk across with their demo man and pick up everything else. Very clean play.
Thanks to that Russian cap, though, from the last round, there's not going to be a map point just yet for Sweden. They have to win this and another round to actually secure the map now with a 6-1 scoreline. But now this Uber's going to come in onto the top right side. Donny now doing a really good job denying any sort of space there, but the frags going in clearly in the way of Sweden and just kill feed and sea of red. Is this going to be Lightclaw surviving underneath, trying to deny any sort of space, but not going to be enough. The round there for Sweden in a very, very echoey mid round, it has to be said, from Russia's last effort.
That was just over a minute. It's very, very fast. Very, very fast. Map win, or point, game win there. But, you know, as you say, it was a complete mirror image of the other fight, and let's see if they can actually keep it up, and keep it up for this fight, make it 6-1, and reach map point.
Yeah, Russia really doing a much more aggressive bid going in towards Red's choke point actually, and trying to commit some players in. We've got Mixwell jumping in a bit deeper, trying to get Viljack, but all the frags once again going in the way of Sweden. Until now, low HP though on the side of Russia. This will be very difficult for them to try and take this back. Mixwell in Banana right now trying to take some sort of space, but eventually gets denied by Sweden once again. Really good stuff from him. Now it's going to be the scout walking in. Lightclaw gets launched into the sky, and eventually air arrow there from Classy. Oh, that was a big shot, and as Sweden are going to win that mid.
Add that one to your frag videos. That's a wonderful arrow from him, pricking him out of the sky. Russia just tried to emulate there what Sweden did on the last mid, except they forgot to protect their medic. And then suddenly they had no heals and everyone was on 50 HP. And that's what happens when you go aggressive with no protection detail for the most important class in the game.
Yeah,
There's a sniper on the field. Lightclaw and sniper.
Yeah, Lightclaw's in River trying to take some sort of space in, but gets launched away into the corner. They're eventually cleared up there by Viljack peeking in with the Uber. So Sweden, with all the advantages they need to secure this map for themselves. Viljack doing this dance to death with the combo there of Russia. Lost Tiki's zone on the point right now, denying any sort of cap time. DQZ locked down to really low HP. Foz as well getting a bunch of frags from himself, and that's going to be the map there for Sweden 6-1.
It was a very dominant game all around there from Sweden. I think they showed, 6-1, it probably should have just been straight up 5-0, to be honest. They showed that they had a much greater cohesion as a team, I think. And, the Russians were able to pull off some pretty aggressive mid-fights and just win by sheer force of numbers. But in the end, good teamwork, keeping your scouts alive, all that sort of thing is going to win you games. And I think Sweden demonstrated that perfectly.
Yeah, so probably worth quickly looking at the logs actually to break down how dominant Sweden were, I guess, in essence. And looking at it right now, pretty much the top 5 fraggers for Sweden, basically the whole red team getting up there. It's just going to be Chemical with doing the honours for Russia with a decent 21 frag score line. But Sui, who I actually praised a lot in the game, actually got 29 kills in general. So good stuff from him to get that clean up for his team. And Spear following up as well with the 8k damage and 23 frags of his own.
Yeah, it was definitely a case, I think, of that game of keeping Sui alive, letting Smear do his damage, let Onkaya and Foz make some space. That it was just some really great teamwork all around. Just players who understand the dynamic of how they want to play as a group. And as you say yourself, these guys play in mixes with each other all the time. They're well used to playing together as a group, even though typically Nations Cup teams don't usually play with each other throughout the year.
Indeed. Looking at the heal stats right now, quite similar actually. Only 100 heal point difference between both medics actually. It's just going to be Classy getting one extra charge there when DQC of course switches to crits. No drops from either side. It's a clean game for both of these medics. And heal stats actually more in favour for Sweden in terms of the scouts actually. Viljack and Sui getting a bit more heals as opposed to Russia's tactic of buffing their soldiers a lot.
I think, scouts are so powerful at the moment. You need to keep your scouts healed. We saw what Sui and Viljack could do with that heal advantage over their opposing scouts. Donnie and Lightclaw are able to pull off some miracles, but there's only so much you can do against a pair of scouts who are fully healed and the enemy soldiers have brought you down to half HP.
Now we're going to be going on to product. This actually be an interesting map to see from both of these teams. Given the general DM fights in the favour of Sweden, this could be their chance to really run away with this essentially and get this map sorted and the game in general and get the higher seed. But Russia could have always been able to shout. I'm sure Russian players will like the more DM orientated maps as opposed to the strategic ones. So they're probably going to try and maybe mix up a bit, try and get some more snipers in perhaps. What do you think about it, Gamma?
I find it interesting here in pre-game straight away Donnie is on sniper. It'd be interesting to see if they use him a little bit more. I know Lightclaw can play a very good sniper as well. I know Lightclaw and Donnie will probably feel a little bit annoyed that they got out-scouted so hard last round. But it'll be interesting to see again Russian teams on DM maps. They gotta like it. They definitely gotta like it. But with the likes of Onkaya and Foz, with the fully healed Sui, I just really don't see Sweden losing this map again. I think this is going to be a straight up 6-0 for them between the two maps.
I feel like perhaps Russia could always been a shout with maybe a sniper in the mix. Maybe if the sniper's like one of those silent gods, essentially, like able to bring out the sniper, just get so many kills with it on product, it could swing it in their favour. But I think you're going to see an absolute show here from the Swedish scouts. Perhaps we saw good stuff from Sweden the last map in general as well. So. Probably going to have a lot more heals as well to play with, and generally a lot more aggression in general. As we're going to go in live into this first mid, we've got Sniper to mid, like I mentioned earlier. We've got Donny set up on the right side right now. Sweden now going to make their waves in. We've got the scouts set up on the main point. Big jump in from Monkire, actually trying to take some space. Immediately trying to get onto DQZ. Both soldiers really coordinated bomb in there, and actually going to get a pick up immediately onto the medic. So no medic right now for the side of Russia, and just generally collapsing as well. Mixwell going to try and escape with his life, but actually going to go for a big jump of his own. Eventually going to get mowed down by Wilder once again on the 3k, and a full wipe there from Russia.
Mixwell jumped onto the point there expecting to find the medic, I think, and what he found were two scouts ready to mow him down for his troubles. Bit unfortunate. It looks like they're going to go for a forward hold here. There has been a colour change from the last map, so we have Sweden on blue and Russia on red. Insert memes here. There's a crit charge.
Immediately goes down.
DQZ
And the
immediately
follow-up
dead.
lock and load as well. Oh my god, that crits was huge. And the flash and the Viljack as well, I think got a kill onto Donny. So lovely stuff there from that crits. 4 players going down. Probably going to rue losing, I think it was Viljack maybe later, but going to try and maybe commit to this forward hold a lot more. It just generally giving Russia no mercy right now, but it's actually going to cost him a bit. 2 players suddenly go down. It's going to run on some sort of Swedish retreat here. Probably getting a bit overzealous with that earlier crits charge.
Smear tried to spawn camp them with stickies, and he absolutely baited the hell out of Swee. Led to him getting killed because of it. Looks like they're trying to get forward here, but they did lose DQZ in the background forward. They are running that permanent sniper with Donny. This works a hell of a lot better when you already have the point. And now we see him up on China. There are no heals though. Gets false, what a shot!
Oh my god, the hair headshot onto Pause Donny, trying to bring this back for Russia, surely, with that shot. And eventually going to cost him his life though. Viljack making waves in the flank as well, getting 2 kills onto Thebes and Donny. Eventually going to cost his life to Lightclaw. So the rest of Russia look to try and hold this cap time they have right now. Crits charge once again pops out onto Spear, trying to make some waves onto this soldier, perhaps the lock and load, but eventually going to fade off. No kills as such with that Crits Krieg. Might warrant maybe a potential switch later if Classy is to lose his life in this next push. But right now, Sweden ruining off of that last push essentially. Going to try and make really aggressive stuff onto DQZ, trying to surf around. He's going to meet a faceable Sweden right now with the pistol, eventually going to go down there. 2 players up right now for the side of Russia. Donny on this cliff area trying and get some full frag here, eventually going to get cleaned up, and Viljack, really nice clean up from Viljack in this map currently.
The coordination from the Swedish scouts and the Swedish soldiers is just beautiful to watch. Like, you see, they came in through concrete because there was no one watching there. They just walked right in, and as soon as they saw an opportunity for it, in go the soldiers. The scouts jump over rock, clean up medic, clean up demo, clean up sniper. Easy play for them. It's just literally after that little sack wave there, it's just DQZ alive, healing Donny, just trying to see what he can get. It's a full crits again from Classy. He's going to use it in through spawn. Is it?
I guess so. That's the intention, I think. But Smear eventually getting juggled away there, and like I just have to say, Classy was really playing with fire in that sight line right there. Donny had full scope of him. Unfortunately, missed a lot of his shots. Like you got to feel Foz playing with Classy had been playing with fire in that sight line, just in full view of the sniper in that position.
I think all of this stems from the scout coming in, Chemical getting in on Classy. Can't finish him off, gets picked off in midair by Swee for his troubles. Donny rings out a nice headshot onto Onkaya. Can he work space for their sniper to do more? Mixwell's being toyed with by Swee here, goes down super low for his troubles. They have China free for Donny now to try and snipe. Gets Swee, massive shot from him, looking to get the point. They're gonna need to start getting some point pressure. Viljack gets dropped. Insane shot.
I mean, the first one shot to Sweet, to be honest, he was standing still, technically waiting for an arrow. But the second shot, my god, another air headshot essentially onto that scout. So Donny really trying to drag Russia back into this picture essentially. But so much of a time gap right now for Russia. They got to basically win every single fight following up to this to try and have a chance of getting this first round. And Kaya eventually going to create it right there as the crit spot comes in once again. I think for the side of Sweden, eventually fading off there after that initial fight, and actually going to get looking to secure this cap. 16 seconds left on the clock. Donny with another nice kill into Classy. So no medic right now for Sweden, but this cap right now with 15 seconds left, it's got to warrant some sort of aggression surely for Russia if they can make the space even. Smira in this forward hole trying to deny as much space as possible, and Russia have taken a detour. Were they able to make it in time? 4 seconds?
They do have the charge. They're just trying to get anyone on the point. There it is, the Uber, but no one's going to cap. They want to take it off.
He was Ubered on point and he kept his scout Ubered and no one got no cap time. Oh, that is heartbreaking for Russia.
Oh, it's basics of TF2, man. Can't cap the points if you're not if you're shiny. And that's just lost them around there. They shouldn't be running the sniper to mid, I don't think. I think it was the reason why they lost the mid last time around. We'll see if Donny can get any shots off this time.
I feel like Russia were touched by her P in terms of cap shenanigans on Product. But anyway, next mid in this fight right now, Sweden once again taking a much more aggressive soldier bomb combo into here. Both soldiers jumping in and all the frags going in Sweden's favour. Just Russia getting absolutely destroyed in this. Like we're going to try and make a response onto Ankaya eventually. And Holos going to try to take his own fight with Thieves right now. The sign's out, but doesn't want any of it. He got back up from that really. Donny now trying to get a headshot of his own actually. I think he got killed there, but eventually going to cost his life to Swee. And this cap is going to come out. Actually, it was on the car seat, so that was the best case scenario for Russia in terms of that push.
I suppose, yeah, they got classy. They lost the point for it, though. They lost everyone else on their team for it. I just don't think it's worth it to be doing this when you're losing mid-fights so clearly to soldier bombs. I don't think you should be having a sniper, really.
Yeah, but maybe it's how Russia wants to play this to try and get some sort of best chance into this game.
Oh, the bomb!
And the bomb's coming in right now. DQZ getting piped there by Smira, the cleanup there, really effective there for Sweden. And just 40 players up actually, so probably looking to try and back off and wait for their spawns before committing any sort of ground here. We've got Lightclaw actually hiding in this tank position right now. If Sweden were to take the route here with Classy, there's a good chance Lightclaw could actually get a pick onto the medic. And it looks to be like that. He's going to be so patient waiting for this. He's going to see Smear literally facing in. He was absolutely detected there with the Smear radar. And that's going to be him down. And once again, the scout hiding in the house as well, probably looking for another flank pick. He's going to jump in behind us, trying to get under Classy, and the drop! The crits drop even on Classy, so no way he's going to use that right now. But the soldier bomb's still going to be committing here for Sweden. He's going to try and jump in as much as possible to get as many frags, but 3 players up, essentially healthy HP on all of them, but still looking to try and get this cap actually. And no Russia players will be able to contest this if they can do it fast enough. Eventually going to get the block there for Thieves though. Maybe a bit sloppy play there for Sweden. If both the scouts were on the point at the same time, they might have got the cap, but eventually Russia just about holding on there with a significant lead actually in terms of the cap time.
That was... I mean, you expect one scout to be hiding. Do you expect both of them to be hiding? It's a bit of an unusual hiding/sack play. Here comes Smira, no respect whatsoever, just walk straight through, don't care that you have a sniper looking at me. I'm just going to keep walking into your point and they're going to cap it for free.
Yeah, crucial recap there for Sweden, but now the immediate recap coming out from Russia right now, probably going to prompt some sort of a Swedish push right here with the crits they have right now. Both soldiers, once again, double bombing, really coordinated stuff actually for the soldiers, like both of them being bombing at exactly the same time to try and get as much space as possible. Doesn't work this instant right now, both soldiers actually going to go down, but Russia looking to try and get this recap once again, which they look to do successfully. The time's free enough there to secure that cap with 90 seconds left on their clock.
I mean, the double soldier bombs were lovely and all that, but you'd expect a decent team to be starting to cotton onto them now. It wasn't as clean a bomb as the last few have been, so they weren't able to get anything from it. There was an attempted KritzKast soldier rocket from across the map drop attempt from Ankaya that just got his medic killed.
Okay.
I have no other words for it other than describing it exactly as this.
And Kai once again going for a pretty much soda bomb, which is pretty obvious for Russia to take there. But now the follow-up now for Sweden to try and get as much frags as possible. But I think it's just a general sack wave right now. Essentially, now all the players are essentially dying, but no pick onto the medic there. So DQC gonna keep his life intact and build up that Uber charge, which is crucial for this next push, I'm sure. Now for Sweden, probably not gonna have enough time even to maybe build theirs up, given 40 seconds left on the Russian cap. But now Ankaya once again going in behind, just generally trying to be as much a distraction as possible for this Russian side. Looking to try and get in behind right now. He's going to be going into house. He spots that DQC, probably going to try and get the rockets into him, but suddenly a wild chemical appears right in front of him and it's going to deny any sort of space there. Now Russia have to force the Uber, and actually DQC got launched to the stickies there. He's been launched into space and back, and actually going to link up with Bixel regardless. That was an interesting situation there.
The sign kill? Oh, so close. Viljax just took it from Smira there. Smira pulled out the sign on 20 HP, no fear. Viljax stealing the kill from him. Sweden trying to get in here. Ankaya in through the back. He's being spotted by Thieves. Can't win the battle. There's a heavy.
The Brass Beast
on the
heavy.
Brass Beast.
He is
Go,
a sentry
Russia,
in disguise, this man. 3 kills off of that with the extra damage, and probably going to get one to Sui as well. 4 kills. That is an organic sentry if I've ever seen one, and Russia are going to equalise this 1-1 now.
Oh, that's how you off-class, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Brass Beast Heavy in 6s.
Learning from the best.
I can die happy now.
Yeah, learning from the best. Anyway, Russia, off of that momentum, probably going to try and look for be hungry for more and try and get some way back into this map and potentially take the lead in this next round. You never know. I imagine for the Sweden, they're going to do a much more similar case of like having a double bomb in. You've got Unkai actually coming in on the left side immediately. Probably going to take much more of a detour to try and get onto this sniper of Donny, eventually getting that kill. But it's not going to be enough to save Foss's life, though. He gets body shot there, and suddenly all the kills in favour of Sweden. Much more positional advantage there, and Russia didn't have anything to respond, as well as DQZ going down there. It's just going to be Scout for Chemical, and the next soldier as well, actually coming off. I think it's probably Mixwell even trying to get in, but not enough there. Clean up by Sui, and Chemical clean up by Sui again, and that's going to be the first cap there for Sweden. So many Swedes.
Kaya attempted a bomb there in onto DQZ. He failed it, went in behind, tried to kill Donny, failed to do that. Just stayed behind, waited for his opportunity, walked in and cleaned up players. It's just really, really good awareness from him, but it wasn't cleaned up the flank. Donny gets a headshot there onto Smira, gets him low. But the Uber charge is up for Classy now. They have the player advantage. Their health is getting a bit low though, and Smira gets launched, trying to get what he can. DQZ's too far forward, gonna get cleaned up by Sweden. They're trying to get what they can here. Donny's gonna get cleared up. Smira gets killed in the meanwhile by Mixwell, and I don't know who that really favours really, apart from Classy being alive.
That's of course important right now. Any medic surviving in the fight is a big plus for your team. So right now, Russia probably looking for the cleanup right now. We saw Spieljack getting 2 there onto both scouts, so nice stuff from him to get those kills, as the rest of the team looking to try and consolidate a position here. They're probably reeling off of that last one that actually they lost, considering the position they were in earlier. So probably right now looking to try and find a way to take the lead once again. Russia taking space onto the left side, trying to get the sniper in once again on this China, which hasn't really been working as such. It's been a few glimpses of brilliance from Dominic, but I don't think it's been consistent enough to warrant the constant use of a sniper. And right now, Sweden looks to try and make the waves into this light claw going now in that fight. But the headshot eventually for Donny will get that pick onto Classy.
It's nice to see Mixwell, in all of his anger and vehemence, bomb a piece of ground and shoot it. He didn't really get anything else done there, but that was a fantastic shot from Donny and might just keep them in this game. They're going to need to cap this point a little bit faster though. The problem on that push, as I saw it, was that DQZ and Thieves started to push forward without their team. They were able to be collapsed upon a little bit too, like a few seconds maybe a little bit early for them. A little bit quicker than they were ready to fight. They're going to lose Thieves again early here to Foz. Smira comes in, gets DQZ. Again, they're just pushing just before maybe they're set and ready to go. Classy going to pick up Mixwell as well. Good old crossbow kills from him. That's 2 massive ones actually in the last 2 games.
Yeah, Scout's tearing up the Russian players right now. 10 kills between them in their lives right now. So good stuff from them to get that, to take the rest of that fight. So right now Russia, 30 seconds left suddenly on this clock, so this is a really crucial stage actually for Russia right now. They haven't managed to cap the point once in this round, so got to get some sort of recap in. The sticky trap spear going to deny any sort of chemical aggression coming in there, so that scout goes down. Mixwell making waves into this left side right now, trying to take space into Foz. He's going to get launched up, trying to get follow the rocket, and suddenly all the frags go into Russia side. Philjack trying to make the most of it now with the heals he has, and trying to save this point round for Russia. Sweden even trying to come in. Mixwell, low HP, trying to get onto Classy with the low HP, and they're actually going to pop the Suba. It's going to deny the cap enough actually for Sweden to win this round.
And Kaya just reloading, getting an ammo pack, seeing we can get done some damage, gets DQZ. That won't stop the cap, but they do have to hold on to it for 3 minutes. Overtime was achieved, and Classy lives, importantly.
Yeah, so Russia really needed a big comeback to secure this round and take the lead in general actually for this product and put themselves on map point. So right now, Viljack actually got the first casualty on the flank there, so he's going to go down. Foz is going to counter onto Donny, and suddenly a lot of exchanges actually in both teams right now, but Russia currently in the frag advantage. They've got 4 players compared to Sweden's 2 now, with the extra picks on Kaya, so looking to try and secure this next push here. It might have been a general sack wave maybe, but Classy actually lost his life there, so it's probably just a general push.
Yeah, sack waves generally don't include your medic nowadays, I hear. But,
yeah, that's what it's saying.
I think they just straight up thought that they could dry push that, and maybe they could have, but they just slightly lost out on the DM battles this time around, and because of that, it's not going to get anything done.
Brass Beast heavy again.
Brass Beast heavy from Donny, okay. I'm ready for this.
This organic sentry going to be set up on the cliff right now, so just when he's doing the suppressing fire, managed to kill 2 players though with the cleanup right there. He's going to get spanned up by Kaya eventually, so he's going to lose that defense buff until he spins up again. So that's one of the key weaknesses actually with the brass beats. You have to stay spin up to regain your defense buff, otherwise you don't get it, and it makes you a really slow target in Heavy's case. But if you're just cleaning up all these players for free, you may as well keep up at it, especially with the sandwich he has for the re-heals as well.
I just love his cosmetics, they look so derpy. It's just, I'm a brass beast heavy on product 6s and I don't care. That's just the whole point of it really. They're coming up by this cliffside, Sweden, trying to get what they can, they're being bounced around all over the place. They can't seem to find the space. That clock is starting to count down now. The bomb coming in from Onkaya isn't going to get DQZ. They're going to lose everyone. Sweet Viljak, Onkaya, Smear, Classy. It's a full team wipe. 1 minute 10 seconds left on the clock, and they're losing again to a Brass Beast Heavy.
If I was in Sweden's shoes right now, I'd probably want some sort of sniper off cast perhaps to try and come in this. And actually, they read my mind. Onkaya immediately going to become scoped on the sniper, so probably definitely going to try and find this Brass Beast Heavy and try and eliminate him from the fight. Essentially, try and get that key headshot onto him to open up all the space for Sweden to come in. But with Donny actually positioned on the cliff right now, it's going to warrant Onkaya to actually rotate to the right side eventually, and it's actually going to be playing on China, so it has no sight line right now from what I can see onto the heavy. So unless Donny is going to commit forwards, so basically going to keep healed up. And the headshot onto DQZ, the drop as well. Oh, Russia going to be winning from that, and now Donny's going to be basically helpless out there without heals unless the Russian players actually make it work for them. Chemical going to try and get a kill to pause there, but actually no difficult position advantage actually from Sweden right now. They have been really dainty to try and take this right now, and all the stickies on the setup and the cliff there. Gotta be careful that Classic doesn't walk into them. Eventually going to be dead there and not picking up anything. So this will be the crucial fight. The Heavy's going to drop out in the last instance, but Squee getting 3 quick kills up there with the cleaner, and Onkaya getting the pick onto Donny, which he absolutely needed there. Sweden with the recap eventually and going to secure the 3rd round.
They made absolutely an incredible meal of that round. They had that round easily.
They have 3 minutes.
Easily.
Full 3 minutes. My word. So now Sweden map point once again, 2-1 to them right now. They'll be looking to try and seal this up for them with the full 6 points and take that proper first seed essentially into the playoff stage. And Kaya once again going to be jumping into the cliff area, immediately trying to get on Donny. He's been relentless on this Russian sniper at the moment, but Smear's actually going to do the rest of the work for Sweden, getting 2 quick kills. And then suddenly all these Swedish players are actually just swarming to this cliff point, and Russia have no response, and suddenly down to 1 player in the form of Chemical.
What was interesting there was they read that the aggression was going to be coming onto Donny, and they had, I think it might have been Mixwell with him, just to try and help protect him from Onkaya. But as soon as Onkaya made the space for the rest of them to just collapse in, they did exactly that. Got the important kills, got the important damage, forced them out of the point, and capped with relative ease.
So Russia definitely in a good position to get some more time and potentially this next round. Big bomb actually from oh my god, eventually the Classy going to beat a rocket there from Mixwell. So nice bomb from him eventually going to follow up, and Russia in a good position right now to actually follow this up. But first, actually getting the escape plan onto DQZ and getting that med pick. Just oh my god. Oh, Russia, they had the advantages, but somehow they let that soldier slip through with an escape plan no less, and now they don't have any heals of their own.
Donny wins the sniper battle against Onkaya, but he's not going to get anything else really from that. On that med drop from Classy, he had a crossbow to try and get the kill on his would-be assassin, but you know, rockets can be launched and then you can die afterwards. Oh, he's going to die again, this time to Mixwell.
Yeah, I think we opened up a bit there. Like, Foz got headshot early by Donny, and then I think the space that created enabled Mixwell to get in. Now on Kaya once again with another late bomb, but he's actually going to shoot himself into the ground. Actually going to be a follow-up by Sweet, and a huge headshot there from Donny, and now Foz is going to try and follow up and try and get some pick onto DQC, eventually getting eaten up there by Chemical. Once again, Russia at times will be able to be brilliant on this map, but I think they just lack a consistency maybe to try and secure this map in general.
Yeah, exactly that. It's just the consistency that they're trying to find. They can stay behind the map for 3 full minutes without being able to cap a point, and then they throw a Brass Beast Heavy on the map and nearly win. So, you know, it's a little bit of inconsistencies. They're trying to get in here, trying to stop the Swedes from getting in rather. Sui is just going to walk right in through, no fear whatsoever. Going to walk in, going to clean up Fees for his trouble. Unkaya is going to be cleaned up in return. Sui's going to jump up here, the Uber's going to be forced out onto the point, seeing what they can get off. They're going to get Smear is what they're going to get. Sui's just dancing with them.
Class needs to run. Miswell's already on him. He does a nice surf away. He needs to go and spawn right now. He doesn't want to risk this, surely, with that Uber percentage he has. Eventually going to lose another player in the form of Unkaya there, late there. But that was really nip and tuck there for Classy. That surf, just about saving his life there with this Uber charge for this next push. Gotta be careful though. That sniper Donny is always lurking, I'm pretty sure.
He's actually watching exactly what they're going to be coming up through Cliff here. They won't want to be careful. I think they might have spotted him out. And the Uber gets forced out, bombed up into the air, goes Classy. Smear falls up, trying to get what he can. He gets DQZ, and Donny gets killed in the background. Fuzz gets picked up for the troubles. Lightclaw and Smear are going down at the same time, and Viljak will get the capture point, but Sweden are in danger of losing their entire team here.
Yeah, really sketchy stuff here from Sweden. Both scouts basically the only survivors right now. The point's secured though in their favour, so basically it's going to be warranting a Russian repush. And now Donny's going to take the charge onto this cliff area, trying to scope in on at least one of those scouts to try and open up some space for a soldier perhaps to come in. But eventually going to be playing really passively here from the side of Sweden. They know they have the cap time and the Uber charge advantage as well, so probably just going to be waiting, trying to lure some soldiers into their tracks and basically just focus fire them into oblivion and get those secured kills.
Looks like they're trying to come off that cliff edge are the Russians. Viljak's going to clean up the more aggressive of the players as best he possibly can. Kai is in behind, just kind of walking around. Hello guys, I am here. DQZ is so weak. The lock and load misses him by a mere centimetre. They're going to clean up the rest of the players besides him though.
I think this whole game, Unkai has been the perennial master of walking around behind. We've just seen him jump in behind so many times just for a distraction, and it's actually worked a bit in Sweden's favour, eventually cleaning up a Mixwell there with the launch there, but actually getting the force dose. This could be crucial actually for the next fight for Russia. If they're able to get their players in an ideal position and maybe secure this cap, they could be with a shout of equalising this map once again.
Oh, big pick from Donny onto Smear, no demo. That's a lot of damage missing from the team. The Scouts going to jump in here knowing that they have that advantage to just walk in, try and cap this point. Oh, DQZ gets killed by Unkaya though.
The sniper body shot onto point, so no heals right now for Russia, but they do get the recap though, so buy them a bit of time to perhaps try and get some respawns into this next fight, with no one in Sweden really is poised to capture this. A lot of stickies on point. Eventually Viljak is going to get at times 2 on the cap, and now the rest of the team going to follow up here. It's killed this cap for themselves. 20 seconds left, which could be crucial and determine the fate of this map essentially. If Russia are able to equalise this, we'll be going to a final round. If not, Sweden will take both maps in this fixture.
Classy goes down incredibly weak here at their attempted forward hold. Gonna lose their demo because of this, and they're just gonna lose even more players. Scout's gonna get onto the point with a medic healing him. He's got chemicals back on Soldier now actually, as opposed to Scout. With no, yeah, that's Donny off Sniper, so they've actually gone back to Cookie Cutter setup. And the point captured.
Yeah, 1 minute left for Russia to try and come back into this and take it to a final round. The rest of the team on Sweden really poised in this cliff area, and actually the first pick of the Lightfall could be absolutely crucial. The Uber charge following up as well. If they kill DQZ, which they have done with the rocket from Foz, they have secured this map surely. They're going to try and commit all their players in. Not really ideal HP actually, and the later heavy as well coming into play perhaps for the side of Russia, but eventually going to get picked off there by the stickies and Smear. All the denial here. Demo Man trying to make most of it, eventually going to get killed once again with the rocket from Unkaya, and that's the map there for Sweden. 3-1.
That was a much better showing from Russia than the Gully Wash game, I think. A little bit of a few cheese strats here and there, shall we say. But all in all, I think Sweden were thoroughly deserving of that. Unkaya, the master of creating space, Viljak and Sui went absolutely ham in that game. I'm just so glad we got to see the coordination that the Swedes were able to pull off at times. Those soldier bombs that the Scouts were running through after. Seeing that level of teamwork is it's what this game is all about, really.
Yeah, so commiserations there for the Russians. They weren't able to get one map off the Swedes, so it'll be Sweden taking the full 6 points from that fixture, and securing themselves the higher seed for the playoffs. Both these teams, of course, guaranteed for that stage. Looking at these logs right now, immediately at the top of the kill feed, I see Viljak with 40 frags and 14 assists as well. So stellar game from him. A lot of frags coming out from him.
Well, he did receive 24% of the heals. To be fair, I'm jumping ahead a little bit,
that is true.
but
Not as much as Smear, though.
that's what you want to see on a COT map, really. You want your scouts to be healed. You want them to clean up the damage being done by other players, and that's exactly what happened. Smear put out 400 DPM, 9,000 damage. Brilliant stuff. Viljak and Sui were able to capitalize on that. I mean, Viljak himself had nearly 9,000 damage himself, but when you have that level of heals, when you have your soldiers going, like they died a lot, 27, 26 deaths on their soldiers, but their deaths created so much space for Viljak and Sui to abuse, and for Smear to come in behind them, just dealing out damage as he sees fit.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting game, actually, from Russia in general, really. I think the only times it really looked in contention was when Donny was able to hit shots onto the crucial classes, so either Smear or Classy. Once they didn't have that sniper to deal with, or, he wasn't hitting anything, they seemed to really struggle and didn't have really as much of a backup, essentially. We only saw them get that first round, actually, off of the heavy they had, enabled to basically eat up any sort of Swedish offensive coming off of them. So Russia really struggling, actually, to come up with a backup plan, in essence.
That's the problem when you're playing with the permanent sniper, really, particularly on COD maps, I suppose, is you are essentially playing 5 versus 6 unless your sniper is doing his job. And, I'm not one to throw out flame here and there, but Donny wasn't hitting his shots for half of that game. And whenever he wasn't, as you say, Russia were seriously struggling. And that's just what happens, numbers that you're essentially, as I say, you're essentially playing 5 versus 6. And that numbers advantage is going to pay, especially when the enemy team scouts are being healed as much as they were.
Yeah, the time he did hit his shots, though, there were some beauties, I have to say. Very decent, very fragment-worthy moments, that has to be said from there. And also interesting enough, looking at the med stats in general, DQZ died at least 9 times more than Classy there. So the soldiers, or scouts perhaps, really struggling to protect their medic in terms of the situations there. And that's probably explains why he was only able to get 4 Uber charges out in that whole game, as opposed to Classy's 11, with 2 drops apiece for both medics as well.
It's interesting, 15 of his deaths were 2 soldiers or demos. That says a lot about an inability to control the skies, really, I think, more than anything else. Some good Ubers, of course, coming out from Smear, being able to clean them up with the lock and load of all things. I didn't know that was the new meta for demos on products, but you never know.
Yeah, who needs
we see innovators all the time.
Who needs the Iron Bomber?
Iron Bomber's a terrible weapon, trash weapon. Lock and loads for its hot boys.
much more impressive.
when the Russians are running, as you say, organic country guns, got to get that extra damage on the structures.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess if there's something else, unless you've got anything else to add, we probably have to run over to a little break essentially for the second part of this double bill.
No, I'm good. I'm glad I got to watch this. A very entertaining game. Best luck to both teams.
Yeah, so this has just been Sweden versus Russia in Group H of the Nations Cup for ETF2L. Sweden came away the victors on both maps, securing themselves 6 points and the highest seed for the playoffs, so you'll be seeing them, along with Russia as well. Russia, of course, securing their playoff spot, essentially, unless, I guess, a disaster happens, in essence. But pretty soon, we're going to be chucking it over to some ETF2L Highlander Premiership action. We're going to have week 1 of Le Croza versus Tourette's French Club. And I'm going to be magically transforming into someone called Tomato for the next game. So you probably won't be seeing me in this form in the next game. But we'll be chucking it over to that, and we'll see you very soon.
Hi, old beaver! Away!